Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about some of the founding government documents. Where we left off, the United States signed the Declaration of Independence, and then they fight in the Revolutionary War. They defeat England. England surrenders at the Battle of Yorktown. And now the United States, it's a country. They're no longer part of England. And while the Revolutionary War is going on, they need to have a government. They're no longer part of England, so they have to figure out how do they want to run the government. And I'm just going to go over some of these slides real quick. Today's pretty short. It just says now that the United States is a country and independent from England, they had to create a government. The first documents the government used before the Constitution were the Virginia Declaration of Rights, the Articles of Confederation, and the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom. We became a country on July 4th, 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was signed. So the first document is called the Virginia Declaration of Rights. This was written by George Mason. You guys may have heard of George Mason University, which is in Fairfax. It's named after him. But this document stated that government should not violate the people's natural rights, including freedom of speech, of the press, which is the news, and trial by jury. And a trial by jury is just if you're ever arrested, it shouldn't be a judge who determines if you're guilty. It should be a jury of people, just average citizens. I mean, I've had jury duty before, and if you ever become a citizen, you have to decide if people are guilty or not guilty. And the Virginia Declaration of Rights is older than the Constitution, and Virginians had these rights before there was a United States. And next document is called the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. This was written by Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson's also known because he wrote the Declaration of Independence. And this supported freedom of religious exercise and separation of church and state. That means the government cannot tell you how to practice your religion or favor one religion over another. So our government in the U.S. is not influenced by religion. It has nothing to do with religion, and that originally came from the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. However, the first government that the United States had was called the Articles of Confederation. And American political leaders, fearful of a powerful central government like Britain's, created a weak national system of government. Significant powers given to the states ultimately made the national government ineffective. And this was America's first form of government. So essentially, people were afraid of the government like England. In England, the federal government had lots of power. So they wanted to make sure that the states, had lots of power, so the national system was very weak. And significant powers were given to states. So essentially, like Virginia, Maryland, they had more rights than the federal government did. And that's why it didn't work. So now, here are some of the problems with the Articles of Confederation. Ultimately, it didn't work. We don't have the Articles of Confederation. We have what's called the Constitution. This is why the Articles of Confederation didn't work. It provided for a weak national government. If Massachusetts was doing something different than Virginia, there was no national government to tell them to stop. Each state was doing their own thing. Congress had no power to tax or regulate commerce, which is trade, among the states. So they couldn't tell states what to trade. They couldn't tax anybody. Nobody was paying taxes. And taxes are important because taxes pay for schools, they pay for the military, they pay for police, they pay for public safety, they pay for hospitals. But Congress wasn't able to tax. It provided for no common currency, which is money. So if Virginia and Maryland would have different money. If you wanted to trade, it was very difficult because it's not like today. If I went to Maryland, I can just get a dollar bill and it's the same dollar bill in Maryland that's in Virginia. If I go to California, it's the same dollar bill. But back then, under the Articles of Confederation, it was different currency everywhere. And here's another problem. Each state had one vote regardless of size or population. So if Rhode Island had 1 million people and New York had 30 million people, doesn't matter. They each got one vote in regards to government. Some of the big states didn't like this. We're going to talk more about that later. They have to compromise. But also, the Articles of Confederation, there was only one branch of government, which was legislative. There was no president. There was no judicial branch, which is judges, to make sure things are fair. So ultimately, the Articles of Confederation did not work. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Go ahead and go on to the next part.